All right. We are back. It is week 3 of the Loc'd podcast. I am your boy Tone. You know, we got some good topics coming out for you today, fellas, if you will.
It's your boy CG, back again.
Man, Shaw back here, back with it.
Cool. So, a couple weeks removed from my last episode, there is a lot going on in the world in general these days. It seems like it's always something crazy every day. So first and foremost, starting off with some bad news with the death, the murder of Young Dolph, someone I think we all had a healthy respect and admiration for. Guys, what do you think just about the tragedy of Young Dolph's murder?
One of them things where you just never know when it's your time. It's like that situation when somebody got the drop on you it's not a lot you can do. I mean, everybody can say that he shouldn't have been there or shouldn't have been doing this or that, but I mean, at the end of the day, he was at the store to get cookies for his mother and was going to do a turkey giveaway. So it's like it's the holidays, Thanksgiving's coming up. A lot of people go home for Thanksgiving, and you shouldn't be chastised for going to see family for a holiday. And it's unfortunate, but it's something that's becoming too commonplace, especially with people that's like high profile. These unfortunate events happening to them. I mean, what do y'all think? Do you think that he should? What do you think about going home after you reached a measure of success?
I think if bad is going to happen to you, bad can happen to you anywhere. First and foremost, if you're successful in your hometown or you're successful in Los Angeles or New York, if somebody has a problem with you for the success that you've worked hard for, if they, for whatever reason, don't like what you represent through the success you've obtained, then you're at risk anyway. I do think the home angle is really tragic. You know, I mean, if it happened farther enough away, at least there's some mystery to it on the part of like your family and your loved ones, you know, but to have it happen at home at a place you love to go to, you know, Makita's Cookies, like you could never drive down that street no more. If you think about it, like the grief would tear me apart. Like if that was my father that I lost, or if that was, you know, my mother or somebody that I love, like I would never be able to look at that place the same way, that part of town the same way, maybe even the city that same way. Because I mean, that's part of your heart that's gone that you can't get back.
Yeah, honestly, fellas, like that was. I mean, obviously, we know that was a tragic, incident or just situation. You know, I actually like Young Dolph. You know, he was independent rapper. You know, he entrepreneur times 10. So just to see how he went out, you know, it's crazy. And like you said, Tone, like, you know, good and bad can happen anywhere. You know, it's just an unfortunate situation that it was him. You know, so you know everything that goes on in life, like you really gotta cherish it because at the end of the day, like you never know when it's gonna be your last. So, you know, I'm still gonna play his music, definitely more now. So it sucks, man. That's why you gotta tell the people that you care about, that you love them, and make sure that you know you treat people like you want, you know, how you want to be treated. So that way, if something does happen like that, you know, people all gonna have something good to say about you. But when you are actually a good person, which he was, and like you can see when he was, you know, all the stuff he was giving back. You know, Shaw was saying that about the turkey drive, like he was there for a good reason. So he wasn't just out there doing bad stuff, you know. But he definitely will be missed, you know. But
and I think a certain thing for people who may not be as close to this situation as we are from maybe a fan standpoint or at the point of simple understanding of, you know, what was more likely to have occurred. I think the sad part to me is seeing all this go down is people who didn't know of his music or know what he was about as far as giving back to the community, purchasing heavily in real estate. You know, like for a lot of people who weren't as informed, it could look like, oh, another rapper got shot. like it was some type of beef thing. And we don't know what is true and what's not true at this point, but everything seems to point to this being a random occurrence of just a fluky type thing, similar to how Nipsey passed when he passed. That's come up in a lot of conversations I've had just about Dolph's passing, in the past however many days. So certainly a sad situation. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers definitely go out to Dolph's fans, family, friends, and loved ones. And I hope one thing that I can say before I hop off this topic anyway is all of the memories that people have shared about Dolph have been positive memories. You know what I mean? Just like he did for the kids at Duke when, they got fired for playing his song at the coffee shop or whatever. I mean, it sucks to lose people, but the fact that everything that's coming out that maybe you didn't remember this or you didn't know, it's all been good stuff. And I think that says a lot about a person, because when people die, you can't control what come out about you. A lot of times people die and all the stuff that was under the rug come out, so to see the positivity has been really dope, if nothing else.
The streets is very wicked, man. Real wicked, man. I mean, like I said, you seen how it went. I saw the pictures. Very, very wicked, man. Guys up there with ARs and everybody now, they got these switches on these pistols, man. These pistols, one squeeze and you letting off 30 shots. It's wicked, man. It's just hopefully everybody, holidays coming up, everybody stay safe. And yeah, enjoy your family.
Tell them you love them. In other news, seemed like a lot of the news we got this week wasn't necessarily the best news. I'll say that. In other happenings, Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenage shooter, during the Kenosha protests last year, protesting the police shooting of Jacob Blake as he was shot 7 times in the back. Kyle Rittenhouse, who went to this protest armed with an AR-15. I think we all kind of know the story at this point, but he did kill 3 people in defending property that he did not own. Guys, he was acquitted, found not guilty, found innocent on all 3 counts of murder that he was charged with, and also had a misdemeanor gun charge dismissed or thrown out as well. I think I kind of know the gist of what you think, but I'd love to hear specifically. What do y'all think?
Well, my take on it is that to be acquitted of everything, I wasn't too surprised, but with the misdemeanor for the gun, I feel like that could have been a little different, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the situation and you can't do anything but wonder, like, what if he was a black kid? Like, would this still be the same topic? Would he still be alive to, go through trial, So my thing is, I wasn't surprised at all that he got off. And it's kind of sad to understand that the judicial system is kind of built a certain way that it don't even faze you, especially a person of color, a black man, seeing something like that on TV, and it's in 4K on what happened, and then to hear the stuff coming out, and then to hear the judge that was over the case kind of basically he's basically was in Rittenhouse's corner, kind of basically saying that you can't use certain verbiage and you got to throw this out and you got to refer to the people that were the victims as rioters and looters or whatever may be the case. So it's crazy how like things can be twisted to kind of lean towards a way that it's been done for so long. It's just like, I knew it, so that's just my thing. Like, I wasn't surprised. I feel like things could have been different. I think he should have been, found guilty on something, if not everything. But it's just the way the world is, designed and how things are.
The judge sat down at the defense table and let him pick jurors out of a hat. I never seen nothing like that in no courtroom. That's unheard of. Like you said, like if he was black, would he had made it to trial? I doubt it, man. They killed preteens with toy guns.
Tamir Rice.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tamir Rice.
Rest in peace.
You know, it's not surprising though. Like I wasn't shocked when the verdict came out. Like it's to the point where I'm numb to a lot of the stuff. Like I don't even really get too upset about it no more because it's like this is America. Like that's what it is. Um, and it's just you just got to tell like young people, especially young people, young black colored people, that the rules ain't the same for me and you as it is for Steve and them. Like stuff they can do and get away with, if you try that same bullshit, like you could lose your life. You can lose your life over it, literally and figuratively. So it's sad, and I mean I don't know how it can be changed. Um, Everybody can get out here and protest till they don't have a voice anymore. But we've been protesting since
The 50s.
Martin Luther King.
Man,
If you
since
look at
forever.
pictures of Million Man March and you look at pictures of the Black Lives Matter movement that we had last year, it looks exactly the same. So the 60s was what? That's, I don't know, 50 years ago now at this point, and we dealing with the same thing. So what is the correct action for a change?
Yeah, I think that raises a good point. Just because, like, with protesting, I mean, when you feel the way a lot of people around the country feel in our community after seeing this verdict and knowing what that means, that potentially if he were a person of color, how would he been treated? And I think a lot of times we're more surprised when they get it right than we are upset when they get it wrong, because this seems to happen quite often. One thing I would say is it seemed to be from a legal standpoint, right? The letter of the law, the wording of the law, the way the law is interpreted, it seemed to be a perfect storm of Wisconsin state law and the way that his defense attorneys were able to take the evidence available and paint a picture for him. It's not like, I mean, nothing in this case seemed to be perfect, but it's also not like he blatantly got off. They played the law the way the law was written. And I will say, the prosecution did not do themselves a lot of favors on this as well, from having contentious arguments with the judge, the way they tried to introduce some evidence. It seems like the prosecution's case was not as airtight as it could have been, and they were fighting an uphill battle in that they had the burden of proof that he was not acting in self-defense. How can you tell somebody that I'm not doing this to defend myself? I mean, that's hard to spin regardless of what evidence is present or not. You can't speak for my intent. You can't prove my intent. So, I think it's another case of things that we've seen before, and I think we can only hope that these incidents become fewer and far in between as we move on through life. From bad news to worse news, because we've had just that kind of week, it seems, right here before the holidays. Guys, Zac Stacy, former NFL player, 30 years old, played college ball at Vanderbilt, was caught on video with a very violent and hard to stomach assault of the mother of his child. Obviously, very disturbing video. Trigger warning: if you go looking for this video and you have not seen it, it's graphic and it is not easy to watch. Sadly, we've heard of a lot of domestic violence incidents with professional athletes, football players in particular. I mean, guys, we talked about this a little before the show. We all saw the video. What are your thoughts on the incident, and maybe why do we see this happen amongst football players more than athletes in other sports?
Look, I think that kind of stuff happens more times than none. It just depends on if it's caught on camera or if the person that is being abused actually comes out and says something. It just, you never know what, why people come out at certain times. But and I'm not defending, I'm not for or against, I'm just, just stating. So, at the end of the day, man, like what he did, if you'd have heard about it, it'd have been like, I don't know. But to see the footage, the first thing I thought was like, what if that was my sister, or what if that was my mom and like whatever boyfriend, whoever. Or it's crazy just to see and understand that he was once a professional athlete, and like to see that, it's just like, that's crazy. And to be honest with you, I think, personally, there has been other cases, and not just in football, but it just seems like all you hear is about football, and it's like, I personally think it just comes down to, I think it's timing. Personally, it's timing, bro, because he's not doing anything right now, and well, at least what it looked like, he wasn't doing anything as far as football or anything. But like basketball players, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think, like, have y'all heard of anybody in basketball with like a domestic like case, but not nothing like on video. But have you seen anybody with like any domestic issues? I'm trying to think. 'Cause I think there's been some, but I
Stuff
don't
here and
know.
there. It never seemed to be very big. Like,
Right? So that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Like,
sure there's stuff we're forgetting, but I mean, in the last few years, nothing
And
crazy jumps out.
I mean, I'm sure it has. I think the basketball news cycle works a little bit different because there's so many games. So, if there is an incident on Monday, LeBron plays Tuesday, so it's pretty much brushed right over. Whereas opposed to football, the news week is a week long.
yes. Now, so like that's why my kind of point. Like, it's like it's timing, but it's just like it's different. But that like that incident, that's crazy because there's other instances, I guess, with football. But to answer your question, or yeah, to answer your question, Tone, it does seem like it's more football players. I just wanted to feel like act like, or just see like you guys had any more insight on any other sports. But honestly, man, like there's been like Ray Rice incident. You've seen that footage, so it kind of stings. What's the kid from Cleveland? Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt,
Yeah.
like he was in the same situation also, but he actually came back because his video was bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the Rice or the Stacy incident. Like the Stacy kind of takes all the that takes everything.
I think that may be the most violent video, disturbing video that we've seen, in terms of domestic abuse from or involving a professional athlete. One last thing, or maybe not even last thing on this topic, but we talked a little bit about it before the show as well, with the incident that I believe was last summer, last fall, with Chad Wheeler of the Seahawks, allegedly assaulting his girlfriend to the point that she had to be taken to the hospital to receive substantial medical attention. In your eyes, guys, are there any differences in the way that we're hearing about these two stories? Because some people may not even recall the Chad Wheeler incident, but this one has been headline news maybe since it occurred. I mean, since the video broke, it's been all over the place.
I mean, it is a clear difference between Zac Stacy and Chad Wheeler. There's a difference between those two people. If you do a Google image, you can look that up. There's also a huge difference in the women that were involved in each instant. If you Google, you can look that up as well.
Yep.
There was a punter actually from the New York Giants that was involved in something
Oh
similar.
yeah.
And the league brushed right over it.
He still played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played like the next couple weeks, I believe, like right after it happened, right?
Yeah, the next couple of years, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Not to excuse any of the behavior, but there's a very clear difference in the way that it's covered and the way that it's discussed. But back to the main topic at hand, the thing that struck me the most was during the whole thing, his daughter was sitting on the couch watching. Granted, very very
Young.
young daughter, but nonetheless, it is a sight that is seen. So I always wonder with stuff like that, how does that affect that child as they grow and develop? If that if that will affect them seeing that at such a young age.
It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and even if it doesn't affect, the visual, that experience being there in that moment, if that instant doesn't affect the child, I mean, think about how that mother is, like, the way we know people handle trauma differently, like that could affect the way she raises that child, like for better or for worse. You know what I mean? Like this child could grow up in a way that, she's taught to look over her shoulder, or she's fearful because she's always seen mom do that. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make any blanket statements. I'm just saying the possibility for that is there. One question, it should be noted that Zac Stacy is facing a total of 20 years behind bars if convicted on all charges. So, we certainly hope for justice to be served in that case. And in some lighter news, a lot of crypto has been on the rise. We've been talking about it. We've seen crypto maybe have the biggest 2 years in these past years. And now the naming rights for the Staples Center have been sold to crypto.com for $700 million. Guys, how does that make you feel?
It shows how the world is changing. I actually remember hearing about cryptocurrency back in 2011, 12, that area. It was originally used. It used to be a website back then called Silk Road. It was like a dark website, so you could buy different types of things through that website, and you would use Bitcoin as a way to purchase things without your money being tracked. And I can remember back then in college, somebody telling me about it, and I was like, dog, you crazy. Like, this ain't gonna never turn into no money. And to see where it is now, I mean, back then, I think Bitcoin was, if you put $5 into it, $5 would get you, let's say 10,000 coins. And to think about where it was then to now, Bitcoin being $60,000 per coin is just very eye-opening. It's led me to think back to, not to write people off so quickly. People might be on to something, but this new crypto craze, a lot of people still look at it as funny money, but I mean, all the trends are showing that it's here to stay, and it's something that you can really, if done correctly, you can really profit off of and change your life, if not the lives of the people that come after you.
That's a fair point.
No.
That's a fair point.
And I just want to add one thing. Now, I just want to say that news just makes you want to just invest. That's it. Because
Facts.
anytime you see 700 million moved around or being bought for something, it's like, if you want to make money, you got to follow the money. End quote. That's it.
Now, question, and this, I mean, aside from, the naming and all the exposure that comes with it, as a fan, what does this do for you? I mean, we all know sports, professional sports are a business, right? But if you were one of those people who, let's say, maybe around our age, maybe a little younger, right? If you were one of those kids who had the privilege of seeing Kobe and Shaq playing at the Staples Center to win one of that three-peat of rings that they got, is there any sentimental attachment? Do you think that it's advantageous for everything all of the time to be so corporate? Because 8 years from now, this thing could be named something else.
You just said it at the last, like the ending of your statement or your question statement. It's all about money. Your emotions don't matter. Like the Staples Center, like it's always gonna have that. It's gonna be history, but at the same time, it's a building and it's owned by people that you don't even know. So at the end of the day, it's like if they feel like they can make a bag off of it, and then it is what it is, bro. Like if you know about the Staples Center, then you know about it. Plain and simple. It's going to be in history books from here until ends time. And like you said, that building going to change names maybe another time. I mean, one more time in our lifetime, maybe. So, like money called the shots. If I got enough money, damn near anything has a price for the most part.
That's fair.
And it's like the name of the arena. I mean, it don't matter. Like out here, I the name of the Wizards Stadium. It was the MCI Center, the Verizon Center. Now
it's Capital One Arena.
It's the Verizon Center, man. To me,
yeah.
Like that's been what it was, growing up. And so I feel the same way about the Staples Center. Like the crypto.com center don't even roll off the tongue correctly. Like
it don't. You going to the crypto to the game?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you ain't going to the game to look at who owned the building. You going to, that's Kobe. That's Kobe's house, Stadiums get built all the time. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But to me, like, the biggest thing, like CG said, man, it's like you got to follow the money. Like, it's clear that something is happening. Like, $700 million ain't chump change. Like, that's almost $1 billion. Like,
right.
That's a different type of time.
That can change generations.
Man. All right. Well, last question. I thought this would be fitting, seeing as how we've got Thanksgiving right in front of us, and a lot of other holidays. It seems to be the more sentimental time of the year, time where you kind of take stock, reflect on the year you've had so far. Guys, with Turkey Day right upon us, what are some things that y'all are thankful for?
Thankful for surviving another year, making it through. Thankful for family. Thankful for the opportunity to see new developments, this podcast being one of them. Just thankful and excited to see what the future has in store.
Okay. I'm thankful, for life also. Having a successful business, starting this podcast with y'all, like this has been fun, and I know it's gonna be more fun. Thankful for family, friends, just thankful for like all the small stuff, really, because every day could be, any day could be your last, and I feel like sometimes I take that for granted, and to have you ask that question kind of make me really quickly put things into perspective, and just I'm thankful for everything. I know that sounds kind of cliche or just kind of bland, but really though, everything.
Yeah, kind of the same. It's always hard to kind of be the last one in these situations.
Yeah, top that. I'm thankful for family and family.
What they said. But definitely certainly thankful for my family. I wouldn't, have any of the things I have would be as moderately successful as I am. Certainly without having them in my corner. Thankful for being employed. I was lucky enough to remain employed throughout the pandemic, and coming out of the pandemic, at least it seems like we didn't go through a lot of losses at the company that I work for. So it's not like you got to trim back. So I still have a job to go to. Certainly thankful for that, man. Friends, man, had a up and down year in a lot of ways, but just knowing who's in your corner, who you can count on, who's always going to, hold you down. That's been a blessing to kind of come to some of those realizations about the people that you hold close to you. And like you said, man, thankful for new things. Thankful for the podcast. We kind of took a shot in the dark at this one and seem to be having a pretty good time so far. So hopefully we can just keep that growing. But yeah, those are a lot of the things that I'm thankful for. So if there's anything else we didn't touch on, nothing we left out, for the Loc'd Podcast, episode 3, it's your boy Tom.
CG. Man, Shaw, make sure y'all invest, man. Invest.
Oh, well, wait, I got one more thing then. If you ain't got a gun, you better go get you one.
Wise words. Protect yourselves at all time, people. We'll see you here in a little while.
Peace.